Okay, guys, time for serious talk. Um, I don't know how to structure this, but we're just gonna go with it, and I'm talking really silent, but whatever. Silent, I mean quiet. Okay, so pretty much, let's address the suicide thing. So somebody in our community committed suicide. That's what happened. I'm not gonna say who for confidentiality issues.
Just respecting the family in general.
Yeah, but the problem is our school decided not to address it at all. So, most of you know this, but I actually emailed the school administration saying that silence on mental illness issues is not acceptable and that I gave tips on what they can do to help educate students and what to educate them on. So, like coping mechanisms or like warning signs, true warning signs that they turned out not to listen to, but whatever, we'll get to that later. Um, and just how you can help legitimately and just the scientific and psychological aspects of mental illnesses.
Not just the stereotypes.
Yeah, pretty much eradicating stigma surrounding mental health. And I actually went on Instagram and told other people to email, and actually a bunch of people emailed me to the point that Mr. Olivero emailed me telling me that like he was getting a lot of emails because of me, but whatever. His email was actually very respectful, and it actually made me think that things were maybe gonna change. Um, I might insert a picture here of the email if I want to, and I want to be a bougie YouTuber. It was actually a very respectful email for the most part, and I thought things were going to legitimately change, and they didn't do what I told them to do. They just had the counselors go into the English rooms, and when they said they were going to do that, I was like, okay, that's fine. One thing I will say though that really pisses me off is I'm not one who wants to be praised for things that I do. However, I will say that I did feel kind of disrespected for the fact that I sent them this email and then they said the reason they're doing it is because it's Suicide Prevention Month.
Which, if it was, they would have already done it,
Yeah.
considering it's the end of
busy
October.
yeah, and the busiest
yeah.
week of the school year so far. Because
it's homecoming week.
and then like spirit, like just a bunch of stuff, and the PSAT last week and everything. It's just been a really busy week, and they're doing it this week. So like that just shows that like it was the emails and the fact that school doesn't do anything unless they get pressured. But anyways, they pretty much took any credit of anyone saying anything or concerns. They pretty much said like, oh yeah, we're doing this because we have to, which is actually a lie, because I know other schools that they're not doing this because of Suicide Prevention Month. I mean, they should, but they didn't because they don't have to, and it's not mandated. But they shouldn't say that it's because they have to, because that's also like kind of disrespectful. But whatever, I don't crave like to be like, oh yeah, Diego said this, because I really don't care. But it'd be nice to say like students were concerned.
And we weren't expecting like an assembly or something, but last year an event happened at our school revolving around sexual assault, and the only reason they did anything about it was because it got on the news and there was a lot of publicity, so they had to. And since this topic is equally as important in my opinion, they should have done the same. They should have done the same. They should have done an assembly. They should have done something educational opposed to just coming in and basically they said if someone looks sad, give them this card with the suicide hotline on it.
Which just adds stigmas that if someone looks sad, then they're suicidal, which I just want to say that is not the case whatsoever. Most of the time, I'm not going to like go too personal with this, but most of the time when people have already chosen to commit suicide, they actually kind of change and they don't seem sad.
And they could be like, they could seem very happy, and they could seem very giving, like they can give you personal objects of theirs. like that's one of the biggest signs.
Yeah,
And
but being sad is
yeah.
not a sign. It is not a warning sign.
Because most of the time, the most suicidal person in the room could be the one with the biggest smile.
Yeah.
They're just the person going on through their day.
So, and then also not to mention that depression really is a feeling of emptiness rather than a feeling of sadness. And also to mention that people do not commit suicide necessarily because they have depression, but there are other mental illnesses. For example, anxiety. Someone with intense anxiety during a panic attack can impulsively kill themselves and they don't make that decision consciously. And you can't see that during the day. You can't see someone that they're going to commit suicide.
And like people with multi-personality disorder, one of the people that that overcomes them can decide to, but the person they are doesn't.
Yeah, so with that said, I think the school at least addressed it. However, I don't think they addressed it in the way that I thought that they should. As a school, it's their purpose to educate students, and I do not think they did that substantially.
And it's supposed to be a safe place for everyone, which with recent things in the government and stuff, it already makes it less safe of a place for some students, and now it's just added to the kids with mental illness. Like, they're stigmatized and it's gotten worse for them now too.
Yeah, so this is pretty much a video condemning, should we say the school? Yeah, sure, condemning University City High School for not taking into account the true aspects of mental illness and not taking it in an appropriate manner that just adds stigmas to mental illness and is very insensitive in my personal opinion and many others. And we would like it if they were to send out an email or a letter or something apologizing for how they took the action in a very uneducated manner, and would please ask that they provide different resources that they can say, come here if you want to educate it, because at least give resources where students can educate themselves if you cannot do that job.